See It Played, Advanced Tobruk System, Pork Chop Hill, Korea, 1953. Okay, See It Played. It's been a few days. I don't remember the details of exactly where I left off, but I left a marker here to remind me. So this, so I'm thinking that these Chinese, yeah, they just came on the map. They used assault movement. I know that because the arrow marker is behind the stack. The Americans here have a fired marker on them. So now I remember they took opportunity fire on the Chinese as they came up out of this little dip here. Now, first thing is, I'll take this out of the way now. The first thing is that that stack used assault movement. They can, as a matter of fact, I'll find the rule wording exactly. Yeah, so opportunity overwatch is what they call it. So that stack used their assault movement, but they don't have to use their assault fire at this time. They can use it later. A unit eligible for opportunity overwatch fire may use a fire impulse later in the same fire and movement segment to conduct assault fire. So basically, I leave the stack like that, and later in this fire and movement phase, in this fire and movement segment, if they use their assault fire, then I mark them also fired. So then they're marked assault moved and fired. Now in this case, it simply doesn't matter because these are the. Doesn't matter because in this case they are. Oh, see, I said I forgot. Yeah, I did forget. I thought these were the grenade squads. No, they're not. They're actually regular squads. Okay, so I take that back. They can use their assault fire. So, well, just for exercise sake, they will save their assault fire for later. They can use one more time. So yeah, so the DP-28 does have a regular range of it is a regular range of 5. So that was a really clumsy attempt to show it in the camera. Okay, so the regular squads have a pretty short range of 3. There they are, 5.36 for the squad, so that's a range of 3. So long range out to 6, and the DP-28 has a range of 5 out to 10. So at least the 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, at least the light machine gun could fire. Now, as assault fire, it's going to be halved. Oh, and then halved for long range. So quartered. So that's really a quarter of 3. That's not a lot, but I will use it again at least to exercise the rules. So now I'm wondering. The impulse is going to go to the Americans in this case, but now I'm wondering, well, basically there is platoon movement, which I should probably talk about, but there's platoon movement that allows stacks in more than one hex to move together. You do have that, but the question I have is, can you use platoon movement to come on the map? And I'm going to check, but I'm thinking actually that you can use all kinds of movement to come on the map, in which case that would tell me that you can use platoon movement to come on the map. So yes, under the map entry and exit part of the rules, entering units follow all rules of movement. There is a subsection, platoon and convoy entry. It explains that units basically can move on the board using platoon movement. So platoon movement has a separate rules section, 11.3.2, and this is it's not notional. It is I don't even know what word to use. It's platoon in the sense of 3 accessible adjacent hexes. So combat effective personnel units in up to 3 accessible adjacent hexes can move simultaneously using the same movement impulse. To qualify, at least one location must contain a leader moving with the rest of the platoon. Okay, so I won't finish because I won't declare platoon movement because I don't think that I declared it here, because if I had declared it, I think I would have had the other stacks at the edge of the map ready to go. So I'm assuming I did not declare platoon movement up front. So I'm not going to do it for the Chinese, but now I know that I could have defined a platoon just off map and then had them enter using platoon movement. Okay. And when I want to do that, I'll check that again. I think they actually have to move adjacent, but I'll get to that at another time when I'm going to actually use platoon movement. So the impulse is going to go to the Americans, and see, I don't know why the light machine gun has one more rate of fire. Yes, it does. One more rate of fire. So does it fire at that stack again, or does it wait for another target? I guess it would make sense to wait for another target. So the other option maybe is to move these guys from the under position of the Hedgehog to the on top of position, but doesn't seem to be a compelling reason to do that yet. They're basically maximizing their protection, their survivability right now, because they're not, I guess, directly needed in the fight. That is a bar gunner and a full squad there. So they will stay in the under position of the Hedgehog. So I guess that would be an American pass. Then we go back to the Chinese. I guess now that stack that used assault movement, if it used its assault fire, I guess that would be its the Chinese impulse for that. Okay, I'm just thinking off the top of my head completely now. All right, I'm going to bring on the next force package. I think now. Yep, now I'm going to bring on the grenade squads. These are all the grenade squads together. 3 grenade squads and an NCO right there. 3 grenade squads. They are 216 squads. And that probably tells me that their grenade strength is doubled in attack. Well, I guess it's always attack, but I guess that's probably, yeah, some reminder. I'll get to that when they attack. Yeah, they are going to move, and I'm going to start them right off the map there, and they are going to they're going to go right So I'm looking at the terrain here. I'm thinking they could come on the map and go up through this rocky terrain here, and maybe follow the elevation there. Follow the elevation there, or they could come on and go down into the low ground here. Okay, let's see what this stream does here, right there. So they're going to come on in this hex, then they're going to go down into the stream there. So let's see what that movement is like. So they're going to declare assault movement. Yeah, they'll declare assault movement. So one there, and then the stream down one level in the stream hex there. All right, looking at the Pork Chop Hill specific rules, the battlefield walk around rules, these do look like creek hexes. And I do a quick scan to make sure that creeks here aren't any different than the standard creeks in the main rules, and I don't see anything to tell me that they are different. But I should take a look at this combination terrain. Some hexes on the Pork Chop Hill map contain a combination of two terrain types. P2, and there's P2 right there. So there's the example hex they give right there, hex P2. So you have, obviously you have clear, you have the, I think it's ravine, and you have rock strewn. So for these combinations, all rules for both, or in this case, well, I guess we won't count clear. Both terrain types apply normally. The terrain effects of both terrain types are cumulative. So for creeks, I'm going in order here. I'll look at the terrain chart first. Creek. So we have creek. It is a linear depression. -10 height. Cover is stationary or good. Oh, so so is that down? Okay, so now I'm going to look in the or I'm going to look in the main rules to figure out these differences. So you have 0, -10 height, stationary or good, 2 or 4 movement points. I am probably something like immobilization, maybe. No loss to from enemy. Is that hide? Okay, so that gives me some ideas. Now I'm going to go to the full manual, and as a matter of fact, go right to the index. Creek. There it is. Creek 8:31:14. 8:31:14. Right there. Creek. A creek is depicted in the same manner as a ravine, with the exception that a blue water element is found in the middle. Creek description, it's a linear depression. Creek line of sight. Creeks follow the line of sight rules for linear depression terrain, so I got to check on it. I have never looked into linear depression rules in this game yet, so I should do that. Creek cover, that's what I want to know when they go into this hex, how much cover they have from a second fire from the American machine gun. Yeah, because I'll just eyeball this. Even though it's hazy visual, hazy atmospheric conditions, weather conditions, because they are 20 or more levels above, if not 30 above there, I'm assuming that the Americans will see them in this hex. Of course, they're going to see them here too, but I'm ignoring that. I want to see the effects of the terrain down there. So I want to know if the Chinese get down into the creek hex there, what kind of cover and hiding can they achieve? So creeks follow the cover rules for linear depressions. I gotta check linear depressions. Normally noting the restriction below on which units may be in up positions. Creek up position restriction. Only personnel in there carried light and medium weapons may be in the up location in creek hexes. Huh. Okay, so line of sight. All water hexes are considered to be at -10 levels below the terrain they are found printed on, or a butt in the case of a river. Water hexes themselves do not affect line of sight in any way. Okay, linear depressions. Well, real quickly, linear depression. It is in the index 7.3. Okay, I was following everything with this up until one rule, which I'm about to mention. Seems backwards, doesn't make sense, but anyways. Okay. Chinese are moving by salt movement. They're moving by salt movement. They go one, and they're going to go down into the creek hex. Now, the chart, the terrain chart tells me that at 0 level, it's 2 movement points. At the -10 level, it's 4 movement points. I want to, I guess, yeah, I want to go to the -10, which I'm assuming is down in the creek because I want them to be hidden from the Americans here. So it's 4. So to do that, need 5 movement points altogether. I'm still assuming that there's no extra movement points going down that elevation. But they can do that because they have the NCO with them. So assault movement is 4, plus 1 for the leader is 5. That's just enough to get there now. Now with creek hexes themselves, you basically have 2 locations up and down. This is where I'm not sure what they're supposed to represent. You would think down is down in the creek and up is in the hex but not in the creek. But if they're in the up position, you do that, you note that by putting them on a +10 marker like that. That means they're in the up position, but I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to do that. I want them in the down position, so I'm not going to use the +10 marker. I'm going to put them like that. Now, if they are, without going through all the details, because there are a few details, but if they're down in the creek, they cannot be seen from this far away, which makes sense. But here's the one thing that doesn't make sense. The rules say, so this is a linear depression. The creek has an up and down position. Go to the rules on linear depression, up and down positions, but then it says when a unit enters an LD hex, it is considered to be in the down position. Let me see if I missed something. That is an up position in an LD hex may only be entered from that hex's down position. A unit may exit in up position as per 7.342 and may not move from the up position to an adjacent hex while remaining in the up position. It must move down in its own hex and or otherwise exit, then enter the down position. This just doesn't make sense if it's a creek. You would think that if he's coming from the side, he would go in the up position first, then from the up position to the down position. I understand if they're following the creek, they can go from down position to down position. So I don't know. I'm missing something there. I like the detail of the up and down position. That's what I want. I want them to hide in the creek, down in the creek. I can do that. The only part that doesn't seem to be right is that why they enter the hex in the down position and then go to the up position. I'll leave it. I mean, they're in the down position. They moved, assault move. They're done. All right, I haven't said much about it. I am also using the Warfighting Guide, Eagle book, compilation of ATS questions and answers. There are some questions regarding up and down positions of linear depressions. Bottom line from reading this is the implication that the designer meant for the up and down positions of linear depressions to be rational. Well, this is not rational. All right, clearly these guys would go to the up position first, then the down position, not teleport to the down position and then move to the up position if they wanted to do that in the linear depression hex. The down before up makes sense if the linear depression is, I'm thinking off the top of my head now, that would make sense if the linear depression is a hex side, but this is in the hex, so it doesn't make sense coming from this hex that you would again teleport down into the water first before moving from there up into the clear terrain adjacent, not even adjacent, in the same hex. So this was meant to be rational, not abstract. So I'm just playing it that they go to the up position first. So I didn't really get any rules clarification there, but they're in the down position, which I know because they're not on top of a +10 marker. So that's the Chinese impulse there.